Good morning, you handsome gamers. It's your friendly neighborhood Railerik here, and today I want to be looking at patch 7.2 with you guys. I'm going to try to go over it kind of quickly and really kind of give you guys some of the big important stuff that you should be looking at in this patch and that you should test out in your own games, and maybe you're going to notice it. There's some really interesting bug fixes in here, some interesting changes, really interesting changes actually. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, the first big things that you're going to notice in this patch, what's new, the scope revolver and the glider redeploy are two items are coming in this patch. So the glider redeploy is actually coming as an item that you can pick up on the floor, and that's your, you have 10 users that you can have. Not that big of a deal. I just think it's another kind of item that it's just going to clutter up the inventory space, to be honest, because I don't think I will ever see a professional player. I don't see in my head any professional player taking this over a grappler any day. It's the same idea. You have 10 uses, and the grappler is just overall always better than the redeploy. Like, the ability to take high ground fast and easy, the ability to move horizontally a lot faster, and basically late game if you're on the bottom floor, like all the other things that are good with the grappler. I think maybe people are going to run grappler and redeploy, maybe, but that's two item slots that you're taking for mobility, which I don't know, maybe. I think this could be something used in pro play, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So for those of you that didn't really like the glider redeploy, I think that, you know, you shouldn't really care about this at all. It's not going to change the game really that much. And again, just think about the grappler. If you don't care about grappler being in the game, then you shouldn't care about this, because it's just a worse version of a grappler. Now the scoped revolver, I played around with it a little bit this morning. You're going to see on screen, it's just I don't know what to think. It does a lot of damage. That's the thing. 42 damage with a medium bullet gun. That's insane. And it has a lot of recoil on it, and it shoots kind of quick, but it's a quick revolver with a recoil, so this could be good. You could see a lot of players using this. I mean, I get mid game or late game to kind of snipe out opponents. I still think that most pro players, or like people that really care about, you know, competitive, they probably will still take a deagle if they have the chance over the revolver, because the deagle offers you the opportunity to get into people's one by one because of the damage to structures. So I don't think the revolver is that big of a deal. I don't know if people are going to be using it too much. I think, again, it's the worst version of a deagle. I think that's kind of how you can see it, although clearly not the same weapon at all. I mean, it does have way faster, it shoots way faster. It could be good in close range too. Like, if you shoot it like fast in close range, it could be good, like a 6-shooter that does actual damage. This could be decent in that regard. Minigun has an overheat mechanic now, also has a lower wind-up time, so it shoots faster now than before. So, well, it starts shooting faster. The actual fire rate is the same, but it has an overheat mechanic. So I guess this is just a small change. Most people don't use the minigun anyways, but still decent. You're not going to get W keyed by a random, by a bunch of no skins in squads just shooting, you know, miniguns at you anymore. I mean, you are, but only for 6 seconds. Now, the biggest change that I think that people will gloss over is the fact that they changed the projectile-based weapons to have the same bullet drop. Basically, if you look at it, projectile trajectory is the same bullet drop as the heavy sniper rifle. So your semi-auto sniper, your hunting rifle, any sniper in the game now has the exact same bullet drop as the heavy sniper, which is pretty insane, because the heavy sniper is the easiest out of all of them to hit anybody. It has a lot less bullet drop, like very little bullet drop, and it makes for very easy shots. So I think this is an interesting change. I don't know how people are going to react to this. I think a lot of people are going to say this makes it it's kind of bringing down the skill gap, because I think the idea is that Epic just wants all the snipers to have the same bullet drop to, you know, have less confusion maybe for newer players, so that, you know, any sniper they use has the exact same bullet drop, so they don't feel like they have to adjust every time they change. I guess I can see the point here, but I still think, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I think a lot of people are going to be using snipers, or a lot more people are going to be using snipers than before. I think the bolt action rifle was a little bit too unreliable, and having the same bullet drop as the heavy sniper makes it really good now. Hunting rifle too, and there just so happens to be currently a mode that you can play the LTM, so you can test it out. You can go in the LTM and test it out. It's the sniper only LTM with the low gravity, so it's a good way to test out all that stuff. Some of the other things I'll gloss over again if it's not that big of a deal. The drop chances of traps has been increased just a little bit. Cozy Fire. The mountain turret just went down, but for the rest, everything went up. Just a little bug fix here, but you can no longer be doing some grappler riding. So I know some people were making clips of themselves being shot by the grappler and going really high and doing some nice plays. Well, unfortunately, Epic just didn't feel like that was a great idea. Well, it's not actually the idea. They say here that it was causing network issues because of how fast people were traveling. So I'll take their word for it here, but it's still kind of unfortunate that they took it out of the game. I think it was a fun little interaction that people were using. It was pretty funny. It made for some nice clips on YouTube. Well, unfortunately, you can no longer do some grappler plays anymore. Zipline improvement now. We go in gameplay. There's a couple of things in gameplay here. Zipline, that's not big of a deal. You can turn around and instead of jumping, you don't have to jump anymore. You can just look the other way, and it should change your direction on the zipline. Also, they have the destruction effect is back, so if there's people building in front of the zip line, you're going to destroy all the way through and still stay on the zip line, so that's another good thing. Now, they also teased this with this week, but they're adding a functionality here that basically we're going to click on it and look with each other, but there's a new functionality that when you are, let's say, in the river next to Tilted Towers, exactly where they're filming right now, and you are placing a wall, as you can see here, the bottom wall would usually place in the ground, like almost all of the wall would be in the ground. So instead of that happening now, it's going to give you a free extra wall. So you can see here it places 2 walls, but this would only cost you 10 wood. So this is a pretty decent change if you're ever in that situation. It doesn't happen too often, so it's not that big of a deal, but still, for the few times that it happens, it's a nice little change. Also, corn stalks will no longer block fire. So if you're someone that likes to drop fatal fields and you've been hiding in the corn stalks all your life, well, just make sure that you know this is a change now. You can get shot through the corn stalks now. They no longer block your fire, which is a huge change. I think people have been using it as cover for a lot, like especially in the late game. If ever the late game circles arrive in fatal fields, I've seen a lot of people use those as cover. So you can now get shot right through them, which is a very interesting change. Also, there's a bunch of editing changes in this patch. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the editing is just better. It's just better, faster, and there's a lot less bugs with it. So just expect that. I just don't want to go over because there's just a lot of them in this patch. Another big change now is that the vehicle impact damage will be applied to shields if you have any shields, instead of just always being applied to health, which is a huge change. Instead of like directly killing you with your health, even if you have 100 shields, this will take away your shields for the amount of damage. And also they fixed it where this would, certainly is what they're saying here, it should no longer do more than the amount of damage that it should do, which is, it should do 30 damage. I'm pretty sure this is what the impact damage was usually capped at 30, but now I guess it was sometimes doubling that to go to 60. And now that seems to be fixed. They said here that it will no longer double the damage if sometimes, you know, for some reason. So that's pretty cool. But another change that I'm not excited about is the fact that when planes explode, you take your 50 damage is now taken also with your shields, which I don't think is a great addition. I thought that taking away your actual base health when the planes are killed was a really good change, and also just made the planes a little bit less annoying and just a little bit less powerful. So this is a big buff for the planes now. If you get killed out of it, it's no longer just your health, it's actually your shields that's taken away. So it doesn't feel like much, I'm sure, for some of you, but it's a pretty big change. I still think that it doesn't affect that much because, you know, most really good players are just going to jump out of the plane before it explodes anyways. But yeah, it's still a little bit of a buff for the planes, and they fixed a bunch of bugs that were really prominent in the game, like the fact that you jumped out of a plane, then you wouldn't have your glider redeploy. So this is fixed as well. They fixed a lot of the stuff happening with the zip lines. So the zip lines like launching you through the air, or the zip lines just when you got on the zip line at a steep angle. I know the one with the big mountain next to Salty Springs would also often happen when you jumped on it, because it has a little bit of a steep angle. It would just make you fall right through the floor. I'm hoping this actually is a bunch of fixes that work, but I know sometimes they said, oh, we fix it, and it's still in the game. But now another change that I know you guys are going to be very sad about is that you're no longer going to be emoting after you emote on the starting island. It's no longer going to continue while you're jumping out of the Airbus, which I don't know. I found that to be very, very funny when people just jumped out of the airbus and had that. I can't remember what the emote is, but this is emote where you scream out loud like, ah! People did that all the time. It just made me giggle quite a bit. So yeah, and the umbrellas and gliders are no longer going to appear sideways. They are bringing back the events in the game. Now, I did not see them just yet. I just went in my game, and it doesn't seem like the events are there just yet. So I'm guessing they're going to be adding the dates maybe a little bit later on this week or something, but I don't see them. Let me just check actually. Yeah, so I don't see any events right now. So far these events are all over. It's the old events, so they should be adding some new events to the lobby, which is going to be interesting with some live leaderboards, which we're really excited about if you're someone that enjoys running these tournaments. And that's about it, guys, for at least for what I want to cover. There's a lot of stuff happening in creative all the time, but that would be very long for me to go over. If you're someone that's really interested in creative, then definitely go check that. There should be less bugs with creative, at least what I read, which is really cool because I remember just not being able to create my own island or just join my own island, so they kind of seem to have fixed that and added a bunch of stuff. I'm just hoping they add the siphon mode to the creative, or just the idea that you can get shields on kills, because that would make some of the modes really fun when you kill someone and get some shields. It would make some of the deathmatch really fun. Some of the base wars or the close range wars really fun as well. The turtle wars, I think they call them. So yeah, that would make them a little bit more fun. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, that was it. Thank you. I'll see you soon.